Out the way, shall we? Welcome to the jungle, or should I say the front of the house, which seems to have, over the last week or so, been massively overtaken by bindweed. And as a result, the view from the kitchen window is, well, there isn't a view. So I'm just tearing down all of this bindweed to try and clear it away, and then I'll dig it up at the bottom. But for now, I just want to be able to see what I'm doing. And it looks like I've uncovered a little bit of a problem. This is not a good sign. Now, this is my box hedge. It's supposed to be a nice luscious green, but as you can see, it looks like it's covered in about 1,000 spiders' webs. But this isn't spiders' webs. This is caterpillar silk. More importantly, it's box caterpillar. It looks like I've got an infestation. And if I just show you just there, you can see the little buggers. They're quite big, actually. This is going to need to be treated very, very soon. In fact, in the next couple of days, because if I don't treat this now, in 2 weeks, this 10-foot bush, well, it won't exist anymore. The best treatment for this is going to be nematodes. It's the perfect time of year for it as well. And effectively what they are is a microorganism you put into water, you spray directly on the box hedge, and the tiny little insects go inside the caterpillars. And how do I say this nicely? It eats them from the insides. And as a result, it'll save this hedge. But it needs to be done quickly because it's really, really ravaged this. And I've got a whole box hedge all the way over there, which stretches for another 5 or 6 meters. And if this eats this, that goes, all of a sudden the walled garden's gone. It's stressful. Do you know what? With the heat wave on the way, maybe I should have left the bindweed on there as a temporary cover for a week or so. Oh well. Right, let's see how this looks, shall we? Ooh. This heat wave is becoming an absolute nightmare, so I've decided to put a cover over the pergola and hide in the shade and test some colouring for my wall. You can probably hear by the croak in my voice as well, I've got a little bit of a cold, so I'm having everything thrown at me. I've never painted a stone effect wall so far, so I'm trying to kind of add a bit of colour in and then rub it off and see if it looks textured. Luckily for me, there's a stone wall right there, so when I've done, I can see if it looks okay, or even remotely like stone. If you're new to the show and you're trying to figure out what's going on here on a gardening show, let me fill you in on the blanks. I'm currently painting a test wall for my Gardener's World live border. I'm going to be building a whole huge-sized cottage, and I thought having a nice limestone wall cottage would look fantastic, but with 3 weeks to spare, I might be overdoing it. I have no idea if this is going to look any good. I've never painted a wall before. Okay, I've painted it all, I've scraped off all the excess. If it's going to look like stone, hopefully it will be when it's dried. So I'm going to leave it. I guess we'll put it up against the wall and see if it looks all right. Right, now I've got my bit here, and next to the wall, it's well, this looks a bit too clean and this looks a bit old and it's got more colour. So I need to think of something to make it look a bit more, well, real. Okay, I've done a little bit of research online, and one of the ideas was to get some water, some of the coloured paint, and then add a little bit of black paint to try and darken it up, and then let it set inside the grooves, wipe it off, a bit like how we did the bronzing, I guess, and that should give it a bit more texture and dirtiness. Now, I've desperately searched everywhere for some black paint, and I don't have any. So my plan of action is, I've got my water, my paint. What if I just put a tiny bit of compost in it? Like, I'll make it dark, right? There we go. There we go. Well, it's definitely looking mucky. Now, I'm either an artistic genius who's managed to create a very natural and dirt-looking paint from old paint and compost, or I've just destroyed my project. I actually probably could have made it darker. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to paint one side with this new dirt paint, shall we say, and then I'm going to leave the other side unpainted, and we'll see whether I've vastly improved it or ruined it. Okay, this is the before. This was the untouched, just one colour. And this side is the more natural material added to it colour. Whilst it's still a little bit too grey, added to it colour. Whilst it's still a little bit too grey, I need to add maybe a more orangey colour to make it look like the stone. It is looking better. In fact, it's looking vastly better. When you look at the difference in colours, one of them actually looks like a piece of stone, the other one looks like Disneyland. There's a lot still to go here, but we're in the right direction. That's exciting. Right. Might as well start a garden from the beginning. The entrance. Now, the first thing you're greeted with when you come to the garden is this part of the entrance. It's a lovely gate, but then it's all just, well, it's all just a bit of muck and rubbish. And I think just a nice, clean gravel entry with the log store there, the second one there, and maybe keep the plants and the water feature in place. This will clean it up massively. After all, sometimes gravel just solves all your problems. It may not feel like the most imaginative, but actually it's a really good base layer, and I just want a nice, easy, low maintenance welcoming to the rest of the garden. So this shall do. Let's go get some gravel. What you're about to witness here is a live lesson of why it's not always okay to try and save money. Haha! Now, there might be a few of you thinking, why didn't he just buy himself a bulk bag? Surely that would have made more sense. And you're almost right, but I did the maths in my head. These are 25 kilograms, and I got them from my local builder's merchant for £2.60 a bag. And if I was to bulk buy an 800 kilo bag, that'd be 90 quid. But if I buy 32 of those, that's 84. Is that right? 800 divided by 32 is 25 kilos. Okay, so 800 divided by 25 is 32 bags. 32 bags are £2.60, 83 pounds. 83 pounds minus 90. I saved £6.80 and went and got it myself, which probably cost more than £6.80. Yeah. Pleading ignorance, I just decided to ignore my maths blunder and carry on getting the gravel. After all, it's not like I could make an even bigger tit of myself at this point. Do you know what? Let's leave the gravel for a minute and let's just put the liner on. Okay. Come on, you. No. Okay. Looking better already. Now, if you remember, I tried to use screws last time to hold it in place, and it wasn't the most effective way, but it turns out I've just been reinventing the wheel, because you can get these fantastic little hooks that work exactly for this, and you just push it in. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Tell you what, looks better already. All right, gravel take 2. Actually, I've got a better idea. Instead of risking taking the bag from there to there and having that again, I'm going to empty them in this barrow, move over there. I should eliminate some mess. That was a lot less spillage. When pouring gravel, always work right at the end and then bring yourself back. Otherwise, you're traipsing all over it again and again. It's a nightmare. So start from that way and back the way you go. To get it nice and level, a good landscaping rake works a charm. But if you don't have one of those, a good plank of wood works just as good. Right, final barrel. Laid the last few just in the nick of time. It's starting to get dark. Look at the transformation though. Well, it just goes to show in less than an hour, you can transform a space that was looking, well, derelict into an absolutely gorgeous, nice, clean space. And remember, this isn't the be-all end-all. It can have things on top of it. This is just a base layer. You can add pots, water features, another log store, dress it up. But for now, think of it as affordable flooring, because that's exactly what it was. Later on that week, the heatwave disappeared and the thunderstorms arrived. But luckily for me, I was tucked away indoors with a brand new idea. One of the biggest sticklers I've been having with my show garden has been the model railway. And originally I had this clever idea of using Christmas railways and buying about 6 packs of them, which sounds like a good idea, until you realise just how small this is. And when I want to create something like that, it's not really going to have much impact. Now, the people in the comments were actually really helpful. They said, this isn't going to have the impact, quite rightly. You should speak to a model railway enthusiast. So I did. I spoke to loads. I even spoke to the manufacturers and even people who were releasing brand new garden railways. But there was one problem I hadn't even accounted for that I didn't even think about for this. The size of the track. You see, in my design, I have my railway intertwining around all of the plants and has a nice little circle around here and does a full loop, which I couldn't see why that'd be an issue until I started speaking to model railway enthusiasts. And they said, if you want G gauge, if you want O gauge, which are the most aesthetically pleasing and the right size for this, the loop is too big for the border. And as a result, the train will either get stuck or it just won't fit. So I was really at a loss of what to do. This train's too small, the other railway's too big. And then I had a bit of a brainwave. Lego. You see, this is the size of my Christmas railway. It's not very big, and as you saw, the train really struggles to stay on. But the Lego railway is double the size, and as a result, double the size of the train, much more impact. But it also has a better turning circle. Instead of being 1 meter 20, 1 meter 50, its full turning circle is 70 centimeters, which means I can do all of these clever turns. It also means that I can also design the bridges out of Lego too. It all works really well and stays in my nice toy, playful theme that I had for the garden. It's genius. But there's one other surprise that I haven't told you, and I think you're going to love it. In my spare time, I used to design Lego sets, and in fact, I used to enter them into competitions. And this behind me is actually one of mine, and I made the very first Lego book nook, as you can see. Folds in quite nicely. And this reached the 10,000 supporters it needed, and then Lego left me hanging for about a year and they didn't approve it. But don't worry, 2 years later, they decided to just make their own version and completely ignore me. So, thanks Lego. But sourness aside, it means that I actually have the ability to design my very own Lego steam train. Now, there are a few varieties already out there, like this Hogwarts Express, and it takes a small train like this to something like that, which is significantly bigger. So it means that I could probably use the blueprint of this to create my own, to add the motor in, and have my very own personalized Lego railway for Gardener's World. Now, I'm not going to show you the build process of how I designed my own Lego train. After all, this is a gardening show. But what I will tell you is the whole thing is going to now be made out of Lego. It's going to be a nice, fun surprise. So if you want to see it, you're just going to have to come to Gardener's World. I could even put a little me minifigure in it as well. I wonder if they do Lego aprons. All this Lego talk got me excited, so I bulk ordered a load of track and made my railway. Okay, right. Final piece of the puzzle. Haha! It's in! Now, if you're wondering what's going on here, I've put all of the Lego track together for my Gardener's World Live border, and I've put this wood all around here to create a bit of a shape so I can see just how big this is going to be. I think that's going to give me a bit of perspective. I also built the train that came with one of the sets so I can see how well this runs and, well, whether it runs at all, because it's a little on the big side. Right, there's no point beating around the bush. Let's see whether this actually works. I believe the remote is connected. Okay, it makes its way under the tunnel where it'll be underground for a little while. Hopefully that should be okay. Goes around the bronze little tyke statue. Works perfectly fine. Down over the first bridge, across the meadows, down it comes along the second bridge and back round and over towards under the waterfall. This may feel like all fun and games, but remember, Gardener's World Live has just under 500,000 guests in the week. I still need to make the waterfall, the stream that goes all the way through, plant it up, add a rock for the little Tykes car, add a wooden bridge that's going to go over so you can watch it from a different view, building blocks, and loads of little toys here and there. Oh, and a whole bunch of plants and a tree. And the show's in 3 weeks. I hope I don't regret doing this on my own.